everybody. Welcome to the Silent Hill Ascension pre-show. Eduardo here with Layla, and while we're gonna have the run of show, first of all, it's great to be back.
That it absolutely is. Eduardo, it's good to see you after all these weeks. And hey, I believe we have a graphic for our run of show. So welcome everybody. If you've been here before, if you haven't been here before, this is the Silent Hill Ascension pre-show. We're gonna have this here at 5:40 p.m. Pacific. Promptly at 6 o'clock Pacific, we will start the actual Silent Hill Ascension show. And then afterwards, you're going to come right back for the post show, which today is a little bit special as we have an interview with our very own Stefan Bugai. Woo! Very exciting. Eduardo, would you like to explain to folks what Ascension is in case they're new here and don't know?
Well, I mean, it's been a while. So you know, whether you're new, returning, or a veteran for as long as the show has been here, Silent Hill Ascension is a socially interactive streaming series where all of you collectively shape and experience its ever-evolving story. You collaborate and compete with others to try to make the choices you want to see appear. Now, when each decision ends, that choice locks in as canon. That is the version of the story of the show everyone sees. It's a canon story shaped by you, the audience, the participating audience, every single day. And what we're going to do is we're going to have on screen essentially a video, and we're going to kind of ease you back into the story, right? So this is where Rachel discovers a forbidden ritual with the potential to bring Faith back to her. That will play behind us as we kind of, let's ease back everybody in, right? We've been away for a while. Let's ease everybody back into what's been going on, you know, not just last show, but also like kind of a couple of weeks in, right?
Yeah, let's bring everyone back in with us. The water's fine, you know, Eduardo and I are here to guide you through. So as we get the scene kicked up, some things to note. First of all, Rachel, one of our protagonists, Faith, her daughter, who is missing, Eduardo, and she's not the only one that's missing. But in this instance, Rachel's really trying to use her faith in the foundation. As we've recalled, it went from being a pyramid-shaped self-improvement scheme to, we've come to write out calling it a cult, to use a ritual that she's been taught, or that she's discovered rather, to maybe possibly bring her missing daughter back. Totally sound plan, sound logic. Good job, Rachel.
Yeah, sure. So that decision's up for everybody. That will close, I believe, on Thursday. And I mean, you know, when you have a dark and mysterious book that tells you, oh yeah, you can get your, your daughter back, just a little bit of an eye. You need a little bit of a eyeball. And I love that the choice is between her eye or, you know, Eric's, but the audience wants none of it. Right now, it's just clearly Rachel's eye. They're like, no way Eric is getting touched here.
Yeah, Eric really getting saved by the audience here. But yeah, Rachel, you know, like I said, the girl bossery is strong. She's going to do whatever it takes to get her kid back, which I respect. It's going to require possibly violence. In this context, which I also respect, honestly, you know, we got to do what we got to do. But it actually seems like we're going to scoot right along to a different scene where Rachel has an encounter of a different kind.
Yes, so our production team is going to throw that up on screen. That'll be without us, so you'll get to relive the scene. So for context for everybody here, this was the scene that essentially played as we left for the holiday break. So this is the last thing you got to see, well, apart from my lovely face, of course, but this is the last time we got to see kind of the story, not just in Pennsylvania or in Norway. Actually, where are we? The other world says hello, and our production team will throw that right out on screen. We'll see you in a bit.
You? You need to come home now. Just tell me where you are. Faith, please. Faith, honey, tell Mama where you are. Orson? Orson! Hello? Can you hear me? Are you one of them? Orson, you have to come home to Mama now.
You're looking for your son? My daughter's lost too. Please just wait. I need you to listen and... We have to get out of here, now! Come with me. That thing wants to kill us and we have to run. I don't want to leave you, but if you don't come now...
Welcome back. I hope you got to enjoy that scene again. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I hope you got to enjoy it for the first time. Now, we got a decision that's closing today. We actually got two. We're going to focus on one of them. So that's going to come up on your screen. And Layla, if you could walk us through, well, one of the decisions closing today.
Absolutely. So we got a fate decision today for folks who may be a little bit rusty. Fate is going to impact the characters' endings. So whose side will Eric tell Xavier he's on? Faith's, which is the redemption choice. Xavier's, the suffering choice. Interesting how being a wife guy in this instance, not getting you any favors in terms of your path.
Yeah, it's like, no, do I care about? Nah. Like, at least the child is the redemption. At the very, very, very least, at least the child. Faith is important here. Now, the important part about the decisions today is you've had a lot of weeks, audience at home, to decide. It's pretty conclusively redemption on both. So the one that Layla just read, as well as essentially how will Rachel handle the woman in danger. Right now, redemption's winning, which is distract the monster. Although Save Herself has had a pretty nice rally, because I saw it earlier, it wasn't close. So kind of like close. It got a lot closer than it used to be here, Layla. But again, our audience had time and they're like, you know what? We want to see these people on the, not the straight path, whatever the correct path is, I guess.
Well, there's no such thing as the straight path, or the correct path, right? This is all subjective whim or subjective planning. But yeah, it is very curious that, we're sticking to redemption, at least as far as Eric is concerned, or, as far as helping out other non-Rachel shaped characters goes. Rachel does not seem to be the favorite amongst our audience, which is totally it totally happens. But hey, Eduardo, it's actually time for us to start recapping, speaking of Rachel, Pennsylvania a little bit. So I believe we have some graphics that production will throw up for us. And as I predicted. So, story so far in Pennsylvania is that the Sorelli siblings, Joy and Toby, both die after becoming involved with the Foundation. If you've been with us this whole time, you've seen Joy die a couple of times. It's gruesome every single time. Rachel is losing her standing with the Foundation and her marriage to Eric. Faith, Rachel and Eric's daughter, goes missing, hence the the technical difficulties that is called practical effects, folks. But the other thing is that that's what that spooky decision is all about, regarding what Rachel is going to do with that ritual.
Yeah, as Layla jump scares herself into the dark. Now, the thing is, we say that Faith, Rachel and Eric's daughter goes missing, but we have to detail that it's a daughter that's missing, because honestly, I don't think many of the characters in Pennsylvania have much remaining faith, which, for a cult, not so great.
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a sliding scale, isn't it, in terms of who's got faith or not. I think that, faith in times of trouble is tested, both the child and the concept, and the town is facing quite a bit of trouble, particularly the Foundation. It's very easy to say, it's very easy to take credit for when things are going well, right? But when things start to kind of disintegrate, right? People are quick to place blame. And so it's very interesting how quickly the foundation of the Foundation is crumbling in the face of trouble.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, to be fair, the trouble is pretty bad. Multiple people dying, multiple people seeing monsters. Not a lot of it is going right? You get to start, the whole story started because one of the initiation with Joy went very wrong. Could call it what it wanted. It didn't go right. And then a lot of the start of the story was really around the character of Toby, I think an audience favorite. But really the action was centering around Toby, culminating kind of in Toby joining the Foundation and then Toby's eventual passing. But, you know, that's the thing. Now that Toby's kind of passed, Eric went from being an object to kind of like Pinocchio, right? Became a real boy. Somebody that you could have essentially see as a human being with an actual spine, telling a bar to go fuck themselves on the behalf of his best friend Toby, and as a result, though, having to go, well, what is actually my identity? And I think that's one of the interesting parts about Eric, is that kind of gain of identity that we've seen midway. And Rachel and Eric have to take really different approaches to faith missing as a result.
Yeah, I think you and I both gave Rachel and Eric a hard time in the beginning about their response to their kid missing, but we're finally seeing some action. We're seeing some movement. We're seeing some you know, real motivation, which I'm finally very thrilled about. But, you know, listen, in terms of Eric as a fellow immigrant, it is very hard to establish your sense of identity, and I don't envy him having to do that while married to Rachel and while his kid is missing. You know, it's kind of a lot of balls to be juggling, and neither of them are light ones. But hey, it's time for us to check in on the decision. Whose side will Eric tell Xavier he's on? And the choice has not changed. There has not been a significant budge. We're still firmly in the faith path. Would I have been impressed if there had been a significant flip in the last couple of minutes? You betcha. But honestly, I'm just impressed folks are here, and I'm seeing a lot of we're getting some chat highlights over here in our interface and seeing a lot of like welcome back messages and some familiar names. So I just wanted to also say, you know, thank you all for joining us. That's the real thrill, right? Is getting everybody back together. But now it's time for us to scoot on over to our counterparts in Norway. So if production would throw that graphic up for us. So here, Ingrid, matriarch of the Johansson family, dies under suspicious circumstances. Britt, Astrid's sister, so Astrid and Britt, both daughters of Ingrid, goes back to town to help with the funeral and search for Astrid's son, Orson. Detective Haugen and Orson's social worker, Aurora, are putting the pressure on Astrid about her missing son and potentially implicating her. Again, not a fun circumstance to be in.
No, but one of the things with Norway for me, right, is it's a slower buildup, right? There's like a kind of like the lost child mystery, like, you know, in Pennsylvania, there's monsters about. So the lost child mystery with a cult and monsters about is very different to the one where, I know there's some fog around, but fundamentally life is kind of normal-ish in Norway, right? I mean, okay, sure, there's the drama with Ingrid, but that's within the realm of normality, so to speak, right? You know, there's like some morphine found there, and then, you know, found later with, I believe, Mede. You know, there's some family drama with Carl and Mede, which we love. And unfortunately, I forgot one of the most important props we have for that one. But, you know, it's kind of like the whole situation in Norway, right, is building up as the Johansson family kind of has to, I don't know if it's get together. I don't know if it's attack each other. I don't know if it's essentially who's stabbing who in the back or who's helping who is a little more complicated with this family.
Yeah, there's a lot of complicated history that I think we're uncovering right as we go along with Britt. I can't remember what the word was that our summary described her behavior as. It was either despicable or like hooliganism or something. But we were trying to figure out what that bar was within this family. And I hate to say it, but I am such... Eduardo, when you were talking about this family being normal, my brain started functioning in keychains, and all I could think of was normal is only a setting on a washing machine, that old adage from the mid-2000s. So, you know, we actually got a chat highlight here from Coyote Wildfire. Says, shall we all join the triangle-shaped self-help group? Under these circumstances, why not? I will personally be your needle bearer.
Well, fair enough. I mean, like, just I don't know. Like for me, or like, you know, normal for me, normal is dysfunctionality in a weird way, right? It's in a way, what's happening with them is not absurd. It is dark, and there are deeper problems at play, but they are a lot more down to earth, right? In the sense of, you know, the child's missing. There's fog. Something's going up at the farm.
It's like a little absurd.
Sure, that's fair. But That's the thing about the whole absurdity of the situation, and this is horrible segue. But for all of you out here, one of the things is we're all catching up, right? So some of you might actually be new and returning. A lot of you have been fans, and you're tuning into the hosted show because we're here. But a few of you might have come in because you're anticipating the show. One of the things is if you're kind of new or returning and you're interested in more of the story, the catch-up section does have the full episodes in it. As usual, those are spoiler-free in the sense that you can watch them, catch up on all the details. Now, that said, for those of you who after this are like, I would kind of want to understand, but a little more quickly what's going on, we do have a 2023 recap video. It is a little longer, 7 minutes, but that's going to give you the highlights from what happened before the holiday breaks. I'll give you a refresher. That'll help you dive in back to the world of Silent Hill Ascension. But importantly, what happens to those characters, not up, well, we're developers, I guess, up to us a little bit. But it's a lot up to you, the audience at home. You're deciding what's happening to them. You're deciding what their fates are. You're choosing how, well, I mean, if they get together or not. Literally, one of the decisions was that. We'll cover that in the post show. But because it's almost time for the show, you haven't had an endurance scene for a while, so we're going to rebrief you on those, Layla, as our production team's going to for that video on air, what you're going to see. Layla, if you could walk us through.
Absolutely. You get to endure another explanation of the endure scene. So one of our main story characters will enter an eerie room and advance slowly, only to find one of you, an audience member, dead. A ton of crawlers, insects with a human face, will appear. The only escape is to run up to a door towards freedom. You'll have to help the character shake off the crawlers, crawl through the barbed wire, and get out of there. Inputs will appear on screen for you to react to and help the character. Eduardo, would you like to expound on that a little bit?
Of course. So one of the things here is if a character fails too many of these endurance scenes, hope goes down. And the thing with characters' hopes is they functionally decide partly what their fate is. So fate decisions are kind of what you're deciding as an audience together, and hope is something a little more dynamic, what the character's feeling. So having low hope may make them not survive a future encounter, permanent death in the story. One of the things with the endurance scenes, we do give you quite a few influence points for taking part. But remember, doesn't matter if you succeed or fail, in the sense of it's part of the collective story. What matters from them is not the judgment on you as an audience member, it's that you're morphing and shaping the story as you take part and you get to see it. So that's the thing. We're not actually that far away from the show, I believe, Layla.
No, we're about 2 minutes out, as a matter of fact. I am jazzed. I am thrilled. Chat highlights have been making me laugh the whole time we've been talking, which is great. Chat, we missed you a lot. There's a rally going on for one of the decisions today. So, man, Ascension is back. I'm so jazzed to be here. Eduardo, would you mind giving us a recap on our way out?
Sure. So the big thing to remember here is kind of the actions picking up on both sides. And one of the big things before we had the break is that this was the first time we've actually had, really, Norway and Pennsylvania match completely at the same time. You've seen a lot of the same monsters across the larger pond, so to speak. But, Layla, that's the thing. We saw them together. And, that's important.
We did. We saw them come together finally, and now we get to see how those stories will continue to intersect. We love our moms coming through, looking for their kids, being dedicated even in the face of being trapped in the rusty hell, so to speak. I was certainly not an atmosphere I would want to be in or meeting new friends in. But yeah, things are converging, so to speak.
As they are with our lovely audience who is going to hopefully have a delightful show in a minute. Remember, I will be in the post show with our returning guest, Stefan Mugai. Layla will not be with us, so I'm really sorry about that for the fans of Layla out there. I know you are there. Please voice out for Layla. Please let her know that she is loved. We love you all, audience. As a result, the show's in 30 seconds. We're going to say bye for now. We hope you have a delightful time, though. See you later, and enjoy the show.